Habari Gani, my beautiful Ndugu na dada. This is your brother, Abu Amin Ra, coming to share a bit of knowledge with you today. My brothers and sisters, we are living in the age of the end of things and the beginning of other things. My brothers and sisters, this is the end times for the vicious, greedy, avaricious, racist, white supremacist, albino mutant. My brothers and sisters, there's an old teaching that comes down to us from Thoth, the Egyptian, which tells us what goes up must come down. What goes around must come around. He didn't state it in these words, but he stated in a principle of his, which states, as above, so below. You see, my brothers and sisters, one is just a reflection of the other. Now listen to this. What we get out of this is you reap what you sow. What goes up must come down. What goes around must come around. In other words, you reap what you sow. You see, we should sow the seeds of the principles of Ma'at. It tells us how to dwell and live amongst one another in peace and harmony, which the Indians elaborated on, the Hindus of India, and called it karma. In other words, you reap what you sow. So my brothers and sisters, amongst the entire Cushite, African, black race, or division of humanity, we've always known that you reap what you sow, that if you throw a rock up in the air, it's going to fall back and hit you in the head. Now listen carefully. What we call the white race has been raping, robbing, pillaging, and murdering and taking the land of indigenous people throughout the planet. They killed us, they've raped us, they've enslaved us, they've ridiculed us, and they have captured our mind. But listen, my brothers and sisters, my Ndugu na dada, you really do reap what you sow. You should be walking in the principles of Ma'at and sowing the good seed. Then you won't be worried about what karma is going to dispense for you as your reward or / punishment. My brothers and sisters, now I want you to think about something. Do you think the white man would create a tool that he could use to decimate his own people when his reproduction rate now is below 1%? Think about it. He wouldn't do it. He's not a fool. He wants to stay here and control the world and utilize all of its resources for himself and himself alone. So let us take this a step further. Do you think he would be crazy enough to use HAARP technologies to bring about destruction in his own land, killing his own people, messing up his own economy, in literal sense, destroying his system? Of course he wouldn't do this. He'd find a way to do it another way rather than destroy himself and his system. If he loses his system, he loses his power and control. He is a control freak. A greedy control freak. Now let me explain to you my understanding of why These hurricanes that originated in Africa are now sweeping across the United States, bringing death and destruction to everybody there. You see, my brothers and sisters, hurricane is from the goddess Her, a North African goddess, who witnessed her children being taken off into slavery and treated atrociously. Now you might ask yourself, how do you know this? Well, I don't know this, but my intellect informs me this has to be the truth. Because the slave ships came down the Atlantic Ocean flowing on natural currents and ended up in what we call the West Indies or the Caribbean Sea or the Mexican Sea. Now, my brothers and sisters, you might say, well, that might just be coincidental. I said, yes, it just may be coincidental. But let us look at this a wee bit further. You see, Mainduga Nadada, we have let our ancestors down. We have failed them. We have not demanded and received justice from them for the things they went through. So they're pissed off with us who were sent into captivity and our ancestors kept alive. And yet right now we will not stand up and get justice for them. So you see, my brothers and sisters, this goddess Her has created what they call hurricanes. And these hurricanes follow the same route that those cargo ships whose bellies were filled with the children of our ancestors into the Caribbean Sea, the Mexican Sea, or whatever else the name you may want to call it. We call it Central America. So you see, our ancestors are perturbed with you, me and you, because we have failed to hold them up, to honor them by getting justice for them. So we won't come out from among our enemies. We stay closely attached to them. And since it is a time now for the ancestors themselves to visit and provide punishment for them, we are in their midst, so we have to suffer some of the punishment along beside them. But listen, this is the works of our ancestors. They're going to have justice one way or the other, either with us or without us, and against you in your integration with the one who has our ancestors' justice on lockdown. So you see, there's only one way we can stop this Holocaust. It's just beginning. This destruction of the white world. This is just the very beginning. I'm afraid the white man is going to have too many fronts on which he has to struggle in the near future. He's begging for a struggle with the North Koreans, the Asian people, while he uses other Asians to support his position. See, that's that technology he uses. Separates groups. Then they're easier to conquer. Pits one against the other, just as he did our ancestors when he put them in those cargo ships and brought them to a land he had taken from another people. He tricked us, turned us into something we were not. Embedded thought patterns in our minds that would pull us back to what he wants us to be every time we try to go through them, overcome them, renew them. So my brothers and sisters, We got to become men and women again. We got to stand up. Because I've been taught that if you don't stand up for something, you'll stand up for anything. So my brothers and sisters, the time is here. Time waits on nobody. Time just occurs, following the dictates of the universe. So my brothers and sisters, with this in mind, as above, so below. White man has acted in such a way, a hateful way, an inhuman way against the other people of the world, that the universe is sending him his karma. And he has to reap his karma. It's his karma. But unfortunately, some of those in the diaspora and some of those on the motherland are going to have to suffer with the enemy of our ancestors and us today, and die with them, not fighting for them, but struggling against them, as the ancestors send the mighty forces of the universe, of the environment, down on them, destroying them after taking justice from them. Don't worry about these hurricanes. They're going to keep coming. You see, they brought all of this on themselves. They polluted the world's atmosphere. They did it all. They are the ones who are attacking the plant life, who are attacking human life, who are attacking all life but their own lives. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? What's occurring now climatically, geographically, is the beginning of the chastisement of the so-called European, the so-called white man, because he has brought it on himself without really realizing and believing that for every cause there is a direct result. There's a direct opposition. There's a direct effect. You can have cause without having effect. You can have anything without its reflection. So as above, so below. Come on, Mother Goddess. Get your justice as you bring destruction down on those who created destruction. Abarigani. Peace and once again to you all.